blinking.
Is it on?
It's on. It's
All right.
blinking.
Hey everybody, I'm Big A, and this is Cackle and Oink Barbecue. It's the record-breaking coldest day of, ever in recorded man history here in Texoma. So we're not going to stay out here too long. I'm freezing. I got shorts on. Anyway, here's our sign. This is what drags people in. This is what people look for when they're coming down the road. It's like a beacon, a big old beacon to happiness. Hello. See, people even okay.
Local customers.
This is our building. It's an old Taco Bell. Anyway, it is what it is. It's nothing but a shell to goodness. Come on in.
All the good stuff is inside.
Welcome to Cackle and Oink. This is our dining room. It seats about 50 people. Oh, you know what? There's one thing I got to tell you real quick before we get started. Got to make sure none of the Texans are around because they might get a little angry. But anyway, if you're looking for a Texas barbecue joint, you know, the old traditional, old-fashioned meat cooking on a spit over a fire, getting ready to feed a bunch of ranch hands, this ain't it. There's a little button over on your, probably on your machine there with a square on it that has stop and eject or whatever. Hit that now. Okay, you haven't hit it yet, so you must be curious on what I'm about to say. Most Texas barbecue joints, a lot of the old-fashioned, traditional, like I was saying, are living off of old reputations. Cackle and Oink is the new generation. We've got new ideas, a lot more enthusiasm. We're not the third generation handed down and the kid has no passion for barbecue. Let me think here. Where was I going?
We're going to do it Memphis style.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Those Texas barbecue place, old reputations, you know, we've got a new style. We're trying to reinvent Texas barbecue to actually have a lot of flavor, a lot of flair to it. I'm sorry, Grandpa, but salt, pepper, and a lot of smoke, there's a lot more to barbecue than that now. We got to layer, you know, we got to marinate, season with a dry rub, pick the perfect wood to smoke the meat as it's cooking, you know, sauce, get a good sauce that complements your rub with your smoke, with your marinade, with your meat. You know, we offer sauce on the tables, you can see. We've got 3 different sauces on each table, but we never put sauce on the meat. Sauce is always on the side because we've got nothing to hide. That flavor from our meat that's smoked overnight should stand on its own. That's a good motto. Our meat can stand on its own.
It can stand on its own.
Anyway, take a look at the place here. We got a lot of cool stuff. I'm a barbecue enthusiast. A little bit about me. About how we got started here was, I'm actually from St. Louis. I worked in a barbecue joint up there for 8 years. I took as much of the information and knowledge I could from the owners and I retained it because I knew someday I wanted to have my own little place, you know, my own dream. My wife and I, Andrea, she after we had our first child, she got that fever of I want to be closer to my mom and dad. So she's like, let's move to Texas. I miss them. And I said, you know what? Let's go. I said, I can find a job in barbecue in Texas. There's a barbecue joint on every single corner. Well, we get down here, and it's those family-run places where 75% of the employees are related to each other. You know, they didn't want somebody coming in from out of state, especially a Yankee, you know, to come work at their barbecue place. So I said, well, hell with you all. I found me a bank to lend me some money. I found an old Taco Bell that needed some love. And here we are almost 10 years later, rocking and rolling right past these people. So it's kind of like ha ha ha. But anyway, keep looking at the place. There's a lot of cool stuff hanging up. If you look at the ceiling, we've got dollar bills on the ceiling from people all over the world. We've got foreign money up here. We got the coaches from the New Orleans Hornet basketball team. We've got Josh Hamilton from the Texas Rangers. I think he went out to the West Coast now. But, you know, he was in here. He loved to eat here. People always ask me, you know, what's the deal with all the dollar bills on the ceiling? I hear it about every day. And I just tell people, that's my 401k, baby. And they laugh, and I say, well, it's doing a lot better than yours. It's never lost any money. I can well, maybe somebody pulling it down, but it's, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, keep checking stuff out a little bit. We got our menu board up here. Probably a lot nicer than or a lot more forgiving than the prices you're paying in New York there. I actually had the privilege of going to New York City for the Big Apple Block Party a few years ago, and we cooked about 10,000 slabs of ribs. That was pretty fun. But come on back. Let's go to the kitchen.
Much better this time.
Cool.
Covered more.
Oh, this is kind of the boring part, and then we'll get to the fun part. Hang on, let me grab the phone. It's a telemarketer. Okay. Okay, I got rid of them. Anyway, come on back. This is our kitchen. We've got about 12 employees. We cook over 1 million pounds of barbecue a year just with our employees. There's about 3 key employees that have you know, privileges of putting meat on the smoker. I've trained from scratch on how, you know, how to smoke meat. It's an art. It's a culinary art. Come on back. Come on back. There's really not too much to the kitchen. You know, it's a kitchen. You come back here, I'll introduce you to my 2 favorite employees. First one, come on back. This first one right here is Big Carl. He smokes about 3,000 pounds of meat. This smaller one here, this is Aunt Flo. She cooks only about 750 pounds of meat. Neither one ever turn off. They run non-stop. Fires never go out inside of them. We're open 7 days a week, so these aren't your traditional looking Texas stick burners. They're hooked up to natural gas. They've got thermostats. You set the dial. It's really not much different than your oven at home, except it's smoking. You put wood in the back, and it continues to smoke the meat overnight as it cooks. If you look at the temperature, we're cooking at a real low 225 degrees. On the inside, I've got all my cooking done because it's not even time to open, so I've got all my cooking done for lunch, and as soon as we get done with this, we'll throw in our meat tonight for dinner. But we've got a rotisserie in there, and it continues to spin, and juices drip on one another, continuously basting it. These are my 2 favorite employees. No offense back there, Tiffany, but these guys always show up on time. They always...
They live here 24 hours a day.
They pretty much have to depend on them every minute of the day. You know, when I'm sleeping, they're working. And come on back in. Anyway, let's bust out. I'll show you how I prep some ribs real quick, and then we'll bust out some fresh cooked meat. It's really, I love doing these. But anyway, I'm the rib cooker. People always call me rib cooker. My license plates say rib cooker on them. Anyway, we take our loin back ribs. It's a baby back rib. And we dip them in our butt juice here. We call it butt juice. You probably like that name, don't you? It makes it sound real appetizing, doesn't it? Anyway, we dip each one in our butt juice. And butt juice is nothing more than a bunch of brown sugar. We hand squeeze fresh lemons into it. That gives it a little bit of, not enough to taste the lemon juice so much, but enough to open up your palate. Kind of knocks on your taste buds doors and say, hey man, wake up. We got something good coming through. And then that sweetness hits. But to thin it all out, we buy locally made apple cider to kind of complement our apple wood that we're using to smoke with. Next we'll take our rib rub. We're going to sprinkle it on pretty liberally. I keep it pretty simple. I don't have 30 ingredients in here, but I do have some fresh spices that are made by one of my employees locally. He's a farmer trying to get started. So we buy our basil, which it's got a little basil in it from him. We sprinkle this on. Look at that. Man. This is like the shamalama on the ding dong, baby. Anyway, that's all we do to our ribs. And that top part is going to crust over. It's going to make a nice little crunch on the top of the rib while keeping the inside absolutely juicy and moist. It's going to be like a tsunami in your mouth. Well, that didn't sound so good, but you get the idea. Come on up. Are you getting hungry yet?
No, I am.
Alright. We're going to bust out a little food. I'll kind of show you what we cooked overnight, and then I'll show you the ribs I cooked this morning. Alright. Pork pie. What else you want?
Let's show them some brisket.
Brisket?
Yeah.
Brisket. How about some ribs?
How about some ribs?
Whoa! Look how juicy that is. Peed on me.
We just show them our famous cowboy beans, if that's what we have today.
Cowboy beans today. It's a jalapeno pinto bean. We soaked the beans overnight.
And they sell.
Alright, guys. This is a pork butt, okay? This is a pork butt. We cooked these overnight. We put them on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Look at that. Can you see how juicy that is on camera?
Yep.
Ideally, you see this blade bone here? Oh, and pork butt, that's just the name of it, okay? It doesn't actually come from the business end of a pig. If you want the business end of a pig, eat some ham. That's that. But this actually comes from the pork shoulder, and it's the shoulder blade portion. This is the shoulder blade. Ideally, you want this to pull out clean with no meat on it. That's a sign that it's cooked all the way through. If you lift that up and slide that out, I'm going to try and keep the meat intact there so I don't destroy it. But you see that? That, my friends, is perfection, okay? And that's what we do to every single piece of meat that we put on our smoker. You want to keep that for your dog?
Sure.
Alright. That's what we do to every piece of meat here. Everything we do, we've got 3 goals when putting meat on. We want to flavorize it. Look at that. We want to flavorize it, tenderize it, and
Show 'em what's
moisturize
under
it.
that bark.
Yeah, all this black stuff, don't let that fool you. It's not burnt. You know, that's just a seasoning, and it builds a bark on it. Okay? And then your meat underneath, see this? See this moisture? See how tender it is? It just pulls apart. It's full of flavor. It's a tsunami, man.
You and tsunami.
Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's wrap this back up. This is for the people at lunch today. It's Friday lunch. They're going to be hungry. Okay. Next. Here, I'll just set that there. Next. Ribs. We got some ribs. Ribs are my specialty, okay? If I was a pig, this is how I would want to go. You see that? Look at that. They don't sell shit like this in New York. See that?
Sorry, guys.
Anyway. It's perfectly red on one side, red on the other side. That's from the apple wood and that seasoning that I was showing you we were putting on. This is how ribs are supposed to be. Pull them apart just like that. Look at this. It's not fall off the bone. Fall off the bone is overcooked. Down here. Fall off the bone is overcooked. We want it to have just a little bit of tug to it. Look here. Watch this. See how my teeth marks are left in the rib meat? Oh man. Here. You want a bite back there? Alright, gang. Anyway, you've got the idea. I'm Big A. I'm Big A. This is Cackle and Oink Barbecue. This is our place. We, oh, let me think. I just screwed it up right at the end there. I'm Big A. This is Cackle and Oink Barbecue. give us a shot. We'd love to meet y'all. Come on out, have a good time, let us feed you. We'll see you later. Peace out and pig grease, y'all.